Part 117. Become a disciple of Taoist priest for us. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 1175. Oh my God, isn't this too overbearing? Ren Wuji was stunned. Half of the monks in the world practice the 5 elements, 30% practice yin-yang, wind and thunder, and the remaining 20% practice the Tao of creation, cause and effect, seals, space, etc. There may not be even one monk among hundreds of thousands of monks outside the 13 Tao. Come on, aren't you invincible? Suda said in shock. Haha, invincibility is not even close to the mark. If it is a Dao method at the level of Master Hongmeng, I still can't do anything. You are showing off nakedly. Ao Tian couldn't help but feel jealous. Hongmeng Grand Master is the second level of Hongmeng realm. Judging from Luo Hu's memory, all the 3 masters in the entire Jambu realm are supreme masters. The Great Lord only exists in the core of chaos. No, there is no invincible treasure. The gourd spiritual root can absorb pure energy Taoist magic, but for solid Hongmeng spiritual treasures, such as magic swords, spears, war knives and other killing treasures, the power is not that strong, the Dragon Emperor said. As expected of the third child, Su Junming nodded. That's true. The killing weapon is extremely sharp. Before the gourds grow up, it is indeed difficult to resist. However, as long as it is not too strong, it can be weakened one by one and then digested. Even so, my gourd vine is still powerful. After all, the killing spirit treasure is not a big cabbage. How can anyone have one? Chen Xianzang said. Now we are more confident in dealing with Mr. Hung Jun and that bullshit night demon Lord Suda laughed. When everyone heard this, they felt relieved. Moreover, the mana consumed to activate the natal Hongmeng Ling Bao is dozens of times lower than the mana consumed to activate other treasures. It is not on the same level at all. This means that Su Junming can have the combat power of Lord Hongmeng for a long time. At critical moments, the situation of the battle can be changed. Tiangong Taoist looked at him with pain as he only had less than half an acre of Hongmen's creation spiritual water left. After all the hard work, it was not in vain. Well, boss, how about we discuss it? Suda smiled and came up to him. As soon as this guy stuck his butt out, Su Junming knew what he was going to do. Really? Now that you have stronger gourd vines, you won't be able to use rubbish Hongmeng Ling Bao like the Jubilee of Destruction. Why don't you save it for me first? I'll definitely return it to you when we get to the desolate God Tower. Real? Absolutely true. Suda made a vow, but with a fat face full of joy. He didn't look like he could abide by it. Su Junming shook his head. The great arm of destruction is as heavy as a mountain and is not suitable for you to use. Spreading his left palm, an arm dissatisfied with blue scales emerged, and flew to Pan Tuo with his magic power. Lao Ba, I will return this giant arm to you, and give the chaos bell to Lao Wu temporarily. I will come back when the Great War is over. Pan Tuo nodded, took the giant arm of destruction, and handed the chaos bell to Suda. Hey, don't worry, old man. After the battle, I will definitely return the treasure to you. If you dare not pay it back, I will carry the Pan Tuo divine axe to block your dojo every day. Suda's expression froze, and the idea of hiding the treasure disappeared instantly. It's better not to provoke Pan Tuo, a fighting maniac. Okay, let's prepare according to the previous plan. Su Junming's expression became serious. Everyone, the outcome of the preparations and plans of more than a dozen Yuan Hui depends on today. You must be careful and never slack off in the slightest. Hearing this, even the playful faces of Ren Wuji and Suda became serious. They all understand that although they have made a lot of preparations and even have strong strength, but there is no guarantee that we will win in the end. After all, Hung Jun is not easy to mess with, and those wealthy families who have survived from the Taishu era also have profound heritage. Only by being cautious and taking steps step by step can we have the final chance to taste the fruits of victory. The battle between the three corpses of San King and Hung Jun was fierce and earth-shattering. For the Desolate Beast clan and the Taishu human clan, who had been secretly observing the situation in the prehistoric era, they had discovered this fight at the first opportunity. I didn't expect that Luo was really capable. He actually provoked San King and Hung Jun to fight, Ren Huang said in surprise. Di Huang nodded slowly. But Su Junming was so cunning that he took away Hung Jun's treasure, but left the hard bones for San King to gnaw on. In fact, this is also a wise move. With him present, it is impossible for San King to let go and attack Hung Jun. After a pause, the human emperor continued, but judging from his actions of taking away the human race, it is obvious that he knows we exist. Di Huang smiled, but he didn't tell San King. Yes. If San King knew about it, we would watch him in the chaos and we would never fight to the death with Hung Jun. This is a wedding dress for us. Suddenly, the bags on their waists vibrated. After looking at each other, they shot at the same time, and two jade talismans flew out. The spiritual light dispersed, and the jade talisman turned into two water mirrors, with Shen Anai's figure appearing on them. Two fellow Taoists, it is a great pleasure to congratulate us that the prehistoric situation has greatly benefited us. Haha, it seems that God wants us to take the prehistoric land, Dai Huang said with a laugh. Shen Anai agreed and smiled, however, this is not a good time to take action. Why don't we wait until San King and Hung Jun decide the winner before taking action, Ren Huang said. Haha, Taoist friend knows my heart well. Then let's each prepare our armies. Good. At this moment in the wilderness, the disciples of the two sects of Ji-Chan were all shocked and incomprehensible when they looked at the overwhelming killing energy and the overbearing immortal killing sword formation in front of them for tens of billions of miles. What shocked them even more was that the person their ancestor was besieging and killing was actually ancestor Hung Jun. By the way, isn't the teacher a disciple of Hung Jun? How did it become so stubborn now? Not to mention that the disciples of the two sects of Ji-Chan were not clear about it, but also all the monks in the entire prehistoric era who were watching this battle were not clear about it. The cultivators were confused, but San King didn't hold back at all. In the Zuxian sword formation, taking controls the Zuxian sword and the immortal killing sword with one chi transformed into three qings, while Yuanqi controls the immortal killing sword, and Tongtian controls the immortal trapping sword. The three of them joined forces, and the powerful chaos sword energy in the formation came and went, tearing everything apart wherever it passed. Ancestor Hung Jun had a solemn look on his face, with powerful mana in his body. He made seals with his hands. The mighty five-color spiritual light was like a mountain or a sea, and the chaotic sword energy was powerful. However, after falling into the spiritual light, it was like a mud cow entering the sea. It did not break apart except for causing waves. Obviously, this five-color aura is also a kind of natal magical power. San King saw it and looked excited. You must know that at the beginning, when the Chaos Sword Chi was launched, the movement was much less than it is now. Moreover, Patriarch Hung Jun's great magical power of the five elements was not only the five elements spiritual light in front of him, but also the five elements sword chi, which was no less sharp than the Chaos Sword Chi. If the three of them hadn't taken advantage of the blessings of the formation and fought in a wide array, even if they could win, Hung Jun wouldn't be able to survive. Of course, now he can only be his own victim. Haha, San King, if you kill me today, I will always bear the bad reputation of killing my master, and I will never be able to wash it away. Let's see how you manage the sect in the future. Old man, we respect you as our teacher in vain. Who would have thought that you would use the title of God to plot against us, and almost let my three brothers bear the great cause and effect of destroying the ancient world? Killing the teacher, it was you who was unjust. Tongtian has a hot temper. Immediately cursed angrily. So what? How many people know about my plan? but the whole prehistoric cultivators are watching your murder of master. Looking at Zunti, who was laughing crazily, Yuanshi Tianzun's expression became colder and colder. This old dog will plot against his brother in the end. He felt fierce in his heart, and the sword energy moved faster and faster. Old man, no matter how you bark, you will inevitably end up being killed by the three of me today, Tong Tien said angrily. Kill me? Haha, how could I die in your hands? As soon as he finished speaking, the surging five elements magic power around him suddenly dissipated. Tai Kang saw this and his expression changed drastically. Not good. With a thought in his heart, a golden light flew toward the formation like lightning. The golden light surged, and a 33-story golden pagoda fell heavily. It is the precious treasure at the bottom of the supreme pressure box, the Heaven and Earth Xianhuang Exquisite Merit Tower. Boom! Along with the earth-shattering loud noise and the vast divine light, Hung Jun self-destruct. The powerful impact pushed the Xianhuang Gong Tower, which had strong defensive power, up tens of thousands of feet and hit the formation heavily. This isn't over yet. The mighty five-color divine light was like a volcano erupting, slamming into the Zuxian sword formation like a mountain. In an already closed space, the power of self-destruction is particularly powerful. Moreover, for fear that Hung Jun would escape his soul, San King did not dare to open the formation to relieve his force. The monk who had withstood the perfect state of Hunyuan Golden Immortal self-destruct all his life. Tai's Hang has the highest level of cultivation and has reached the late stage of Hunyuan Golden Immortal, so his face is just a little pale. However, Yuanshi and Tong Tien, who were in the middle stage of Hunyuan Golden Immortal, had bleeding from the corners of their lips, and were obviously shocked to the inner palace. In fact, if Taishang's Heaven and Earth Xianhuang Merit Exquisite Tower hadn't blocked the wave, coupled with the protection of the formation, they would have been seriously injured if Hung Jun exploded himself. The power of self-destruction is getting weaker and weaker, and gradually calms down. Looking at the five elements of mana scattered in the formation space, San King breathed a sigh of relief. Haha, I finally killed this old thief, Tong Tien laughed. It's a pity that the treasures were taken away by Su Junming and she didn't see the chaos bell and the jade slip of creation, and he was disappointed and a little angry. The three brothers risked their lives and spent so much effort to kill Hung Jun, but Su Junming took away all the benefits. Moreover, San King Tian was lost. How can you not be angry after such a big loss? We must settle this account clearly in the future, Yuanshi thought to himself. The Supreme Being looked at the dim and severely damaged Linglong Tower of Xianhuang Merit of Heaven and Earth, and his heart ached. This is an important treasure that has been with him since he was reincarnated. In terms of importance, it is even higher than Tai Chi Tu. The powerful defense ability protected the three brothers through the dangerous ancient times. Fortunately, it is not damaged at all. It only needs some repairs to restore it to its original state. Become a disciple of Taoist priest Four Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 1176. Although the Supreme Being was also angry about the empty situation in the formation, he was not as resentful as Yuanshi. They have no shortage of valuable treasures at the bottom of the box. No matter how good the Chaos Bell and the Kinkan Cauldron are, they are similar to the Tai Chi diagram, Pangu flag, and the four swords of Zhu Xian, and cannot make their strength change drastically. It's better to have it, and there won't be much loss if you don't have it. On the contrary, by killing Hung Jun, the mountain pressing on their heads was completely overthrown. From then on, the ancient land became their home field, and there was no greater harvest than this. Eldest brother, second brother, the old thief Hung Jun was finally killed by us. Tong Tian's face was filled with joy. Just as Tai Shang and Yuanshi were about to nod, they suddenly stopped. A heavy pressure suddenly appeared in my heart. It's like the chill before the war, dull and depressing. The three of them looked at each other, each confused. But they are all Hunyuan Golden Immortals, and their whims must have reasons. and the things that can make them feel depressed now must be earth-shattering events. Boom! The extremely dull roar shook the entire wilderness. Whether it was Sand King or others, monks in every corner of the prehistoric world heard this majestic and dull sound. Soon, an unimaginable impact rolled in from the depths of the starry sky. The huge force caused the entire prehistoric continent to tremble violently, as if a magnitude 12 earthquake had erupted, shaking the earth and the earth. Thousands of feet of waves surged like huge walls, layer upon layer, breaking down the embankments and flooding the earth. Fortunately, there are no humans here anymore, otherwise the monks would be fine, but the ordinary humans would have no hope of survival in the face of such a huge natural disaster. What happened? Sand King's expression completely changed. He hurriedly activated his magic power and looked in the direction of the vibration. But seeing, outside the prehistoric crystal wall, 3 huge worlds were slowly squeezing in. These 3 worlds, the navy blue and purple worlds on the left and right, account for about 30% to 40% of the prehistoric world. What is really amazing is the strange dumbbell-shaped world in the middle, which is similar in size to the ancient world. It is the real culprit that shakes the ancient world and triggers a series of great changes. Another world. This astonishing scene shocked the minds of these 3 people. They were not fools, and they immediately understood that if these 3 worlds were allowed to come in, they might not necessarily be the ones to make the final decision. Before the 3 of them could take action, a strong will appeared in their hearts. This will has no obvious emotions, but its majesty and vastness make people look up to it, unable to resist at all. This is the way of heaven. The will of heaven not only guides the 3 pure ones, but also appears in the heart of every prehistoric creature. Kill the enemy. Extremely clear instructions. Of course, there are monks who choose not to practice it, but the thunder that falls from the sky kills them instantly. At the critical moment, there is no warmth at all. Brother. The Supreme Master took a deep breath, and his majestic eyes swept over the 2 brothers. The prehistoric world is the world left by God the Father. We cannot watch it fall into the hands of outsiders under any circumstances. After Yuanji and Tongtian nodded, they turned into light and flew straight towards the depths of the starry sky. At this time, most of the 3 worlds have squeezed in. The place where the 4 worlds meet is filled with red thunder. Obviously, the 4 worlds of heaven have begun to fight. While restraining the great desolate heavenly Dao, powerful auras flew straight from the 3 worlds towards the main continent. There are as many as 11 Hunyuan golden immortal level existences, and the auras of the 2 leaders are not inferior to Hung Jun in the slightest. Seeing this, Sand King could not help but feel despair. This is impossible to fight. Even if they activate the 3 talents gods and demons formation, it is already the limit to be able to stop the perfect existence of the 2 Hunyuan golden immortals. What to do with the remaining 9 Hunyuan golden immortals? In addition to the Hunyuan golden immortal, there are no less than 1,000 people in the densely packed Hunyuan realm behind. This is a powerful force that even the 3 religions combined cannot defeat. Don't panic, fellow Taoists, Qinglong is here. Accompanied by the earth-shattering dragon roar, a huge blue dragon tens of millions of feet roared and flew over. Behind him are countless dragon sons and grandsons. Call out. The roar of the phoenix shook the sky, and a vast pillar of fire rolled from the undead volcano. Daihuang is here to help us fight. Roar, ouch. The earth-shattering roar of the tiger and the heart-stopping roar of the unicorn came from afar. Accompanied by the sound of the huge ocean tide, huge Suanweo flew in from afar. The one at the front looks like an ancient giant mountain. The dragon, phoenix, unicorn, white tiger, and Suanweo were the 5 major clans that once dominated the ancient times. After recuperating in the ancient and medieval times, their strength has not yet reached the peak of the ancient times, but it is still 70% to 80% strong. Especially the Qinglong, Daihuang, Beihu, Dilan, and Suanweo who took the lead, the auras on their bodies suddenly reached the realm of Hunyuan Golden Immortal. No, more accurately, it should be a saint. They have suppressed the great desolate world for many years, and they already have profound merits, and now they are facing a formidable enemy. Tiandao improved their strength in time. Soon another female fairy with a precious mirror hanging on her head and a gorgeous temperament flew in from afar. Its fellow Taoist Queen Mother of the West Tongtian was excited. Immediately afterwards, a giant man with a mighty thunder wrapped around his body and a single eye between his brows came striding forward with a giant hammer in hand. Master Lazy. From behind, an old woman wearing aqua blue robes, holding a faucet-headed walking stick, a purifying water bowl on her head, and surrounded by the vast water light, flew over 1,000,000 miles in one step. Jellyfish Lord of Abbott Island. It's not finished yet. A white stream of lightning came. After the light dissipated, a short and thin old man with white beard and hair wearing a white robe was revealed. His eyes were deep and seemed to contain infinite wisdom. Bay's Demon Saint. Finally, a giant carrying a giant axe, with muscles all over his body and blood soaring into the sky, came proudly. As he came closer, the giant axe bloomed with light and turned into a simple giant bow. How ye? At this moment, the prehistoric heritage is clearly revealed. Although he has been repeatedly weakened by Hung Jun, and although there are no longer the 6 ancient demon emperors and the 12 quasi-sages of the Wu clan, there are still strong people emerging from the ancient world. The 5 divine beasts are Queen Mother of the West, True Lord Jellyfish, Great God Lazy, Ho-Yi, and Bai-Zi. The only ones who have truly reached the realm of Hunyuan Golden Immortal are Queen Mother 11 and Lazy. The rest are all Hunyuan Xianxian, and then become saints blessed by the power of the ancient heaven. But the 10 cultivators, plus Sanking, already have the strength to fight the invading enemy. And there is one more Hunyuan Golden Immortal level combat power than them. The Daihuang clan and the Renhuang clan looked ugly. They underestimated the prehistoric foundation. In contrast, the Taoist human world they opened up was a spliced together 2 middle-grade Hunyuan world and several low-grade Hunyuan worlds. When it comes to potential and foundation, it is far different from the top Hunyuan world that almost advanced to Hongmeng-like prehistoric. In the extreme state of the prehistoric world, several saints can be created in succession. But not in the human world of Taoist. If they dare to do this, they will wait for the heavenly Dao of the Taoist human realm to be swallowed up by the prehistoric heavenly Dao. They, the rebellious sons with malicious intentions, will also be blasted to pieces by the more powerful heavenly Dao. Haha, fellow Taoists, let these bastards from other worlds have a taste of the power of our ancient monks. Tongtian laughed. The aura is sharp and the fighting spirit is skyrocketing. Tai Shang and Yuan Shi looked at each other. Third brother, form a formation. They who had just killed Hung Jun knew very well that if they could not stop the existence of the 2 Hunyuan Golden Immortals, even if the combined combat power of the 10 saints was not enough to defeat the 2 Hunyuan Golden Immortals. Tongtian nodded vigorously, with deep anticipation in his eyes. The 3 of them have practiced the 3 talents gods and demons formation for so long, and today is the first time they have used it in actual combat. At the same time, he started to fight with his hands, and 3 powerful magic powers, red, crystal white, and navy blue, rose into the sky. 3 flags emerged from Baihui above the head, and under the influence of mana, a vast aura erupted, its power almost surpassing that of the sun. Soon the light merged together, in the shocked eyes of everyone around. A huge giant god with muscles all over his body, bare-chested and beard, with eyes like the sun and moon, and feet on the stars, emerged. Pangu. Great God Pangu. No one expected Sanking to have such a powerful move. I saw Pangu, who was 120 million feet tall and shrouded in the mighty aura, stretched out his hand to grab it, and a Tai Chi diagram with a majestic yin and yang aura, as well as a giant grey flag with sword aura, flew out. The 2 merged quickly, and soon an ancient bronze giant axe was formed. Although it was somewhat illusory, its overbearing aura, which seemed to be capable of cutting off the heavens and the earth, made people instantly understand its identity. Pangu Axe. At this moment, the aura of Pangu's true body has reached the extreme level of Hunyuan realm. The divine light in his eyes was locked firmly on the Daihuang clan and the Renhuang clan, and the giant axe was raised high. Cut. Crack down hard. A swish sound. There seemed to be a bolt of lightning flying through the air. The speed is extremely fast, and the power is even more astonishing. Wherever it passes, all matter, including space, is cut off. As early as when Pangu's true body took shape, the Daihuang clan and the Renhuang clan, who were on full alert, roared angrily. Two sword lights, one black and one white, were like a dragon shaking the sky. They blended into each other and turned into an astonishing long black and white dragon, and they responded. Boom! The earth-shattering roar shook hundreds of millions of miles. The majestic aftermath was like a rapidly expanding ball of light, sweeping across the endless starry sky in an instant. There are only Hunyuan golden immortals and saints around. Although he was a little embarrassed, he was not injured. But the intruders who came from the human world, the ghost world and the earth dragon world were in misery. Hundreds of people were directly killed, including several Hunyuan monks. Thousands of people were injured. You know, the lowest these are Daluo. Losing so much at once is enough. Everyone spread out. The Daihuang clan and the Renhuang clan roared. Needless to say, the monks who came from behind also knew how to disperse. Just now they didn't expect that the aftermath of the battle between the two sides would spread so far and be so powerful. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Become a disciple of Taoist priest Four Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 1177. Seeing the Pangu real body fighting wildly with the Daihuang clan and the Renhuang clan, the five divine beasts, Queen Mother of the West, Lazy, and others were shocked and also moved towards their respective targets. Because there was one more Hunyuan golden immortal in combat power than the opponent, Jellyfish cooperated with Qinglong to fight Mo Long, the leader of the Earth Dragon clan who had reached the late stage of Hunyuan golden immortal. The Earth Dragon clan is a clan of dragons born from the turbid air of the earth. They look like dinosaurs and are the mortal enemies of the Celestial Dragon clan. In ancient times, they accompanied the Kailan clan and fought against the Celestial Dragon clan. Later, when Rahu rose, Morong decisively led the Earth Dragon clan out of chaos, and was later taken in by Shen Ni. Qinglong, you are really useless. After so many years, you are still the perfect Hunyuan Xianxian. If it weren't for the power of this world, you wouldn't be worthy of standing in front of me. Listening to the ridicule of his old rival, Qinglong felt resentful. If in the ancient times, in order to save its life, under the coercion of Hung Jun, it swore to guard the prehistoric Ci, it would not have fallen into its current situation. In fact, all the five divine beasts were tricked by Hung Jun. The price of guarding the ancient land is directly tied to the ancient world. If the ancient world is strong, they will be strong. If the ancient world is weak, they will also decline. In the prehistoric era, despite a series of prodigal wars such as the War of 10,000 Races, the demon refining of Rahu, and the War of the Five Saints, the original source of the prehistoric world has shrunk significantly. But although their strength is fixed at Hunyuan Xianxian perfection, their combat power can reach the peak of saints. Who would have known that a series of operations by Hung Jun later caused a series of battles between the Lich and the Lich clans, and even broke the Buzhu mountain? The origin of the prehistoric land has shrunk again. The strength of their five divine beasts also declined due to this, and they could barely maintain their cultivation level equivalent to the middle stage of Hunyuan golden immortal. If the prehistoric era is destroyed this time, they will most likely be dead. This is also the reason why the 5 divine beasts rushed out with all the people in the tribe. If you don't try your best, you will die. However, the combined strength of the Taoist human race, wild beasts, and other races is not limited to Malong, a late-stage Hunyuan golden immortal. Queen Mother 11 looked at the indistinct existence shrouded in heavy black fog on the other side with a solemn expression. She majored in the way of Xuanyan, and once worked with Dong Wanggong as the mother of immortals. He practiced hard in West Kunlun for nearly 100 Yuanhui, and finally advanced to the Hunyuan golden immortal. With the Kunlun mirror, the top quality innate spiritual treasure, his strength is extraordinary. But the ghostly presence opposite made her feel deeply depressed. I didn't expect that one day I would see the Soul clan again. The Queen Mother of the West was born in the ancient times. Although she did not participate in the ancient wars, she knew a lot about the secrets of the ancient times. GG, I didn't expect that there are still people who know my Soul clan in today's prehistoric times. The hoarse and gloomy voice made one's heart tremble when he heard it. Little girl, I see that it is not easy for you to practice. You can still survive if you retreat now. If you persist in your persistence, don't blame me for being ruthless. Queen Mother 11 took a deep breath, and the Kunlun mirror above her head instantly shot out a navy blue divine light. Different from the rumors, the Kunlun mirror is not an innate spiritual treasure that conforms to the path of space, nor does it have the ability to travel through time and space. On the contrary, it is a Xuanyan treasure. It is also the companion treasure of the Queen Mother of the West. Thanks to it, the former can successfully advance to the Hunyuan golden immortal. The dark and cold Xuanyan divine light penetrated the void and instantly came to the leader of the Soul clan, Ghost. The latter did not dodge, a long black flag emerged, and the rich soul magic rhyme spread out, which was no worse than the Queen Mother of the West's Kunlun mirror. Boom! Accompanied by a muffled drum-like sound, the long flag trembled violently, but there was no sign of damage. Seeing this, Queen Mother 11's heart sank. She had used 80% of her strength just now, but was easily blocked by the opponent. Obviously, even if she tried her best, she was no match for him. But even so, she couldn't give up, otherwise the prehistoric era would be ruined. Just when she was about to take action again, the space behind her suddenly trembled. She subconsciously used the Kunlun mirror to protect her whole body, and turned her head suddenly to look. But then, a space passage emerged. By the way, a middle-aged man with a strong build and dark complexion, wearing a guy, a hemp rope tied around his waist, and holding a wooden stick, stepped out. Seeing the person coming, Queen Mother 11 breathed a sigh of relief. I've met fellow Taoist Fuxi. Don't worry, Golden Mother, Fuxi is here to help. Queen Mother of the West couldn't help but be overjoyed. Fuxi was the ancient Emperor 11. After reincarnation, his cultivation reached a higher level. With the help of Su Junming, a good brother-in-law, his cultivation has now advanced to the late Hunyuan stage. Fellow Taoist, this person is from the legendary Soul clan. His magical powers are mysterious and unpredictable. You must be careful. Haha, fellow Ghost and I are old acquaintances. GG, it was a mistake not to kill this little snake like you in Buzhu Mountain. One sentence reminded Fuxi of the beginning. In the ancient times, he and his sister had been practicing there after they transformed into Buzhu Mountain. They were very quiet and restless for a while, and went out to travel. They happened to meet the ghost who was seriously injured and dying during the ancient war. His younger sister Nuwa, who was involved in cultivating the way of creation, had no experience in the world and was kind-hearted, saved his life. Little did they know that this guy was coveting their companion treasures, the Kixuan Qin, the Xiantianling tea tree, and the red hydrangea. He secretly attacked them behind the scenes. Fortunately, Fuxi was naturally calm and took precautions secretly, so he didn't succeed. Of course, it was also thanks to the fact that this person was seriously injured and lacked strength. Otherwise, they were reincarnated not long ago and had just reached the level of Deluo. They would not be the opponents of the ghosts who had already advanced to Hunyuan Celestial Immortal. By the way, where's the little snake named Nuwa? Why isn't it here? Just me is enough, Fuxi said calmly. Since Nuwa had a child, her thoughts have been on Su Bui, and Su Junming, and she no longer cares about the turmoil. On the contrary, although he was brought to Chongshan by Su Junming, he has always paid great attention to Hong Huang. In this battle between the two sides, the original plan was not to involve him. But after seeing his old enemy, he still asked Su Junming for permission and came over in advance. It's really shameless. Forget it, let me weigh your little snake's ability and see how good you are. As soon as the hoarse, gloomy, and harsh voice fell, the long black flag shook violently, and a strange wave surged straight towards Fuxi. Fuxi's heart moved, and a jade-colored Bagua disc flew out from Baiwi Point. It is his natal spiritual treasure innate Bagua Pen. The sky and the earth are shaking, and the sky and the earth are shaking, and the 8-character divine patterns are shining brightly. The innate Bagua is different from the acquired Bagua. There are only 8 hexagrams of Kinkan, Sunzan, Kanlagendui, killing, trapping, illusion, control, confusion, and divination. Listed out, there are a total of 48 kinds of Taoist methods. The end is unpredictable. In addition, he also came into contact with acquired gossip in the collection of Chongshan Academy. Acquired Bagua is just a decomposition of the innate Bagua, which is convenient for divination and does not greatly improve the power. U-character formula, the universe forms an array. The 8-character divine pattern instantly transformed into 8 pillars of light, and the mighty spiritual light blocked out all the weird shaking. He had witnessed his brother-in-law's divine soul skills more than once, especially the soul-falling bell magical power. Although it was not very lethal, it was extremely strange. If you don't take precautions, you will suffer big losses. The Soul Clan is also good at Soul Deo, so of course they have to be more vigilant. Give it back to me. The word kill is used to do it at the top and shake it at the bottom to sway the demon god's thunder. Boom. The crimson thunder was like the Milky Way pouring out, rushing straight towards the ghosts. Pure thunder has limited damage to the Soul Clan, but thunder tribulation with masculine energy is indeed the most feared method for monks who practice Swanyan and Soul Deo. I hate thunder the most. A hoarse and gloomy voice sounded, and as the long black flags swung, layers of black mist turned into a force that filled the sky. The huge mist and the rolling thunder were like 2 giant dragons, fighting together crazily. Thunder and lightning, mighty soul mist, one masculine, one strange, and rapid nirvana. But soon new forces were added. For a moment, the fight became fierce. Fellow Golden Mother, you go help others, and I will be able to handle this situation. Seeing the evenly matched fight, Queen Mother 11 knew that she could not help, so she responded and went to kill the Taishu human race with 2 heads and 4 arms. Jellyfish finally became a Hunyuan Xianxian not long ago. Although he was blessed by heaven and became a saint, his methods were somewhat inferior. At this moment, I am already struggling to cope with the situation. With her joining, the situation was suddenly reversed. While restraining the ghost, Fuxi was also paying attention to the surrounding battle situation. Compared with the elites of the Taishu human race and the wild beast race, the prehistoric side is far behind. Although they are trying to maintain a stalemate now, it cannot last long. Alas, I don't know what Junming is planning. If he had joined earlier, with Chongshan the strength is enough to sweep the 2 clans and settle this dispute. Outside the prehistoric world, the huge world of desolate gods, tens of billions of miles away, is watching the war in the distance. In the Aragami Hall, Shen Ni sits high at the top, and the 6 Hunyuan golden immortals below are arranged in sequence. Looking at the deadlock in the water mirror, An elephant-headed god stood up. God Lord, the human race in the early days is not very capable, why not let me go and help in the battle? With these words, the expressions of the three powerful Taoist human race men sitting opposite in silver robes became a little ugly. Who are you talking about? Didn't you see that there are also Hunyuan from your wild beast clan in the team that entered the primitive world? Why should the blame be placed on our Taoist human race? All right. Shen Ni waved his hand and the restless cultivators calmed down. Although the resistance of the prehistoric world is somewhat beyond our expectations, our side still has the upper hand now. We only need to wait, and the prehistoric world will take care of itself. On the contrary, Chongshan Su Junming has been hiding behind the scenes. Together with the giant spirit god and Yang Mei, his strength cannot be underestimated. It can be predicted that our pressure will not be less than that of the human race. So, our strength cannot be weakened. Otherwise, those guys hiding in the dark will pounce on us like jackals. If we fail, under the attack from both sides of Hong Huang and Chongshan, no matter the Taoist human race, the desolate beast race, or even the wings, snake people, scorpion race, etc., there will be no chance of survival. If you are sure, let the restless practitioners calm down. Damn it, where are those guys from Chongshan hiding? The god and demon with an elephant head and a human body cursed angrily and then stopped talking. After looking at him, Shen Ni sighed inwardly. The Daihuang clan and the Renhuang clan have exhausted all methods, but they can't find out the whereabouts of Chongshan world. To this end, 17 Hunyuan golden immortal level beings under both sides were mobilized, each with 300 Hunyuan level monks, to conduct a search like a net. As a result, 2 Hunyuan golden immortals and nearly 1,000 Hunyuan monks were silently lost. If the two of them hadn't been alert in time and recovered all the rest, the losses would have been even greater. It's a pity that Luo Hu has disappeared, otherwise we could have contacted him to take action. Become a disciple of Taoist priest Four Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 1178. In the Hunyuan stone ball at this moment, 2 huge water mirrors stood in the air. Su Junming, Nuwa, and Fengqi sat cross-legged in front. Behind him, Yang Mei, Zhang Shinian, Feng Zanjian, Qiyu, Zhen Yuanzi, Qinglian Daijun, Shuezang Yang, Ancestor Hongyuan, Su Bui, Jushin Suanv, and Yushe Yangfeng were arranged in order. Except for Renwuji, the 7 dragon emperors who had other arrangements, and Fuxi who rushed to the primitive world. All the Hunyuan golden immortal monks under Chongshan sect are here. However, not far away there are the giant spirit god, Wuzu, Jian, and Zunti. Now they are extremely lucky that they are not enemies of Chongshan, otherwise just this group of elite disciples would be enough to kill them thousands of times. Su Junming won't say it anymore, Yang Mei's cultivation has reached the perfection of Hunyuan golden immortal. Nuwa, Zhen Yuanzi, Qinglian Daijun, and Ancestor Hongyun are all in the late stage of Hunyuan golden immortal. In terms of their cultivation, except for the giant spirit god, Wuzu, Jian, and Zunti are no match for them. The rest, except Jushin Suanv, are all in the middle stage of Hunyuan golden immortal, and their bodies have a faint glow of treasure, so they are obviously accompanied by treasures. Look at them, then look at the guarded Shen Ni in the 2 water mirrors, the Daihuang clan and the Renhuang clan who are leading the crowd to fight, with pity in their eyes. They thought they had the upper hand, but in fact they were just the snipe in the fight between the snipe and the clam. There was a powerful fisherman secretly watching behind them, and he would catch them all as soon as they showed signs of fatigue. If the giant spirit god, Wuzu, and Jian Zunti were just showing pity, then sitting next to the 4 of them, Yu Yi, the leader of the feather tribe with 12 pairs of white wings on his back, and an old white-haired ape were anxious and helpless. One of them is in the middle stage of Hunyuan golden immortal, and the other is in the late stage of Hunyuan golden immortal. Together with their respective clan members, they were all captured as soon as they met. Fortunately, the other party was not a murderer. He just threw them a seedling of the best acquired spiritual root and a Chongshan plate. It only took 30 yuan Huizhou to regain their freedom. Although 30 yuan is a long time, it is not difficult for the Hunyuan Golden Immortals. And the other party also said that after they are free, this acquired spiritual root will also be given to them. Moreover, while they were detained, they could go to the Chongshan Library Hall to participate in spiritual practice, listen to sermons, and practice cultivation. It's just that you are not allowed to go to Chongshan Lord World. This condition is already very favorable. I just hope that Su Junming can keep his promise and treat the Desolate Beast Clan, Taishu Human Clan, Scorpion Clan, Soul Clan, etc. equally. The two of them sighed inwardly. Dad, when are we going to help Uncle? Su Bui couldn't help but ask. Don't worry, it will be soon. Su Bui was about to ask again, but was stopped by Su Bui next to him. He knew that his father must have his own plans. He also believed that he would not watch his uncle and the prehistoric world truly fall into despair. Moreover, the 7 uncles are not here. It is obvious that they have been sent out by their father. This is a powerful being with 7 Hunyuan golden immortals who are perfect, accompanied by top Hunyuan spiritual treasures, and even Hongmeng spiritual treasures. Except for the even more mysterious Hongmeng power, there are almost no opponents in Hunyuan. 7 people coming out together are enough to sweep away the Desolate Beast Clan and Taishu Human Clan. In the chaos that is unknown how far away from the prehistoric world, a Hunyuan world that is about 30 to 40% the size of the prehistoric world is absorbing the energy of chaos and growing. Suddenly, 2 rays of light flew from afar. In an instant, he came outside this world. The light dissipated, revealing a young man wearing a white robe, wearing a 5 phoenix crown, and surrounded by 5-color aura. He was extremely handsome, like a golden boy. It's just that his expression is extremely cold, as if he doesn't want to let strangers in. The other was a young man wearing a dark red robe with a bald head, but he was not a monk. He has a handsome appearance and a gentle smile on his face. Anyone who sees him will feel close to him. Both of them had a gold rope tied around their waists, and a green gourd hanging from their waists. They also held a green bamboo staff in their hands, and above their heads floated a small mountain shrouded in clouds and mist. It can be seen from this outfit that both of them are from Chongshan. Third brother, are you coming, or am I coming? You do it? Chen Xianzang nodded, raised his hand to pick off the small Chongshan cave heaven above his head, and threw it away, and a mighty spiritual light spread out, covering the entire world in less than half a quarter of an hour. As Tiangong Taoist and Su Jun advance in tomorrow's Gongdao, although they are unable to cultivate many Hongmeng spiritual treasures due to limited materials, it is not difficult to cultivate the best acquired Hunyuan spiritual treasures. Over the years, the 8 people and Nuwa Xiao Chongshan Cave Heaven have already reached the pinnacle of Hunyuan. It is so powerful that it is not difficult to seal a middle-grade Hunyuan world that only accounts for 30 to 40% of the prehistoric world. However, such a blatant move naturally alarmed the lord of this world. Seeing the vast aura coming from the lightning, Dragon Emperor and Chen Xuanzang's hearts moved, and they put away the gourds around their waists and the bamboo sticks in their hands at the same time. These 2 things that represent the identity of Chongshan disciples are not easy to be exposed for the time being. Not long after, the spiritual light came to the edge of the world. The light dissipated, revealing an old Taoist wearing a moon-white Taoist robe, a fishtail crown, white beard and hair, and an elegant temperament. He was very cautious, looking at the Dragon Emperor and Chen Xianzang outside through the crystal wall of the world. Examine it for a moment. Old Taoist Xiantian is a casual cultivator. I have never met the 2 of you, and I have no grudge against you 2. I wonder why you came here this time. Haha, we came here specifically to borrow something from fellow Taoists, Chen Xianzang said with a smile. What? Taoist Xiantian instinctively felt bad. this Xiantian world, and the head of fellow Taoist. Before he finished speaking, a vast five-color sword light, like a rainbow in the sky, came close to him like lightning. The thick and solid crystal wall of the world was cut open instantly like butter under a hot knife. Boom! The aura of creation surged, and a 12-grade white lotus rose slowly. Although it was shaking under the impact of the sword light, it was blocked in the end. The Dragon Emperor looked at Taoist Xiantian, who looked frightened and angry under the protection of the lotus aura, and raised his eyebrows. There are quite a few tricks. Haha, after all, he is also one of Hung Jun's 3 corpses. He relies on the existence of the great way of creation. How could he be so incompetent? The Dragon Emperor nodded slightly and said, "It seems that I can't keep this 12th grade white lotus. In the worst case, just go back and let me recover. Our time is precious, don't waste it." After the Dragon Emperor nodded, he spread out his right palm, and a long sword flashing with 5 colors of rainbow light flew out. Daozun Xiantian saw this, his face changed drastically, and without saying a word, he turned around and ran away. Instead of running towards the Xiantian world, he ran directly towards chaos. The murderous Hongmeng Lingbao can still withstand 1 or 2 if it relies on the power of heaven in the prehistoric world. And his Xiantian world will definitely not be able to stop this sword. Not even his 12th grade White Lotus, Heaven and Earth Black and Yellow Merit Ruler, or even his natal spiritual treasure Jade Pure Vase. Only by running and getting far away from here can there be a chance of survival. It's a pity that no matter how fast he runs, he can't match the space escape method, let alone the Dragon Emperor's sword light. Shua! A shocking rainbow flashed across the sky. Daozun Xiantian, who had already run hundreds of millions of miles away, was moving left and right, erratically, and had used all the spiritual treasures on his body to protect himself, suddenly stopped. Soon, a black sword mark hundreds of billions of miles long and hundreds of feet wide appeared in the chaos. Obviously, the space has been completely expanded. The violent chaotic spiritual energy was surging, but it was still unable to destroy the black sword mark, let alone the overbearing sword intention. Click. Like broken porcelain, Taoist Suanation's body and spiritual treasure were all cut in half. Beside him, a space passage emerged, and Chen Xuanzang's figure walked out of it. A 12th grade red lotus on the head has a mighty aura, absorbing all the physical body and soul of Taoist Xiantian. After completing the most important thing, he waved his sleeves and took away the fragments of the 12-grade white lotus, the black and yellow merit ruler, and the jade purifying bottle of creation. He turned around and looked at the sword marks that remained the same despite the chaotic energy, and couldn't help but be speechless. It seems that I have to let Lao Qi refine a Hongmeng spiritual treasure as soon as possible, otherwise I will be seriously injured even if I don't die under this sword. The Dragon Emperor stroked the 5 elements sword lovingly and put it away. If my plan goes well, your Hongmeng spiritual treasure will naturally be missing. Chen Xianzang nodded and said, "Let's go, our work is not finished yet." The 2 people turned into flowing light and flew directly into the Xiantian world. Without Xiantian Taoist master, this world was no different from being defenseless in front of the 2 people. Looking at all the living beings in this huge world, the 2 of them took off the green gourds from their waists and threw them out. Driven by powerful magic power, the palm-sized gourd instantly became tens of millions of feet tall. Even the sun is covered. Such a strange appearance instantly attracted the attention of other monks in the world. But before they could step forward, an irresistible and powerful force of swallowing came out. The human race in the Xiantian world was swallowed up instantly. After finishing, they put away the gourd and the 2 of them worked together to push Xiantian world towards the prehistoric world. Both of them are stronger than Taoist Xiantian, and their speed is naturally faster. When they reached the halfway point, Renwuji, Ao Tian, Suda, Tiangong Taoist, and Pan Tuo came up to meet them. "Why are you so slow, Ren Wuji walked up carelessly. It can be seen that above his head, in addition to Xiao Chongshan cave sky, there is also a shrunken world. So does everyone else, of course. You will only go slower than us. The Dragon Emperor finished speaking coldly and continued, hurry up, the war in the ancient world has begun, and no one knows how long they can persist. If the plan is delayed, your Hongmeng Lingbao is probably going to be ruined. Ren Wuji was about to open his mouth to fight back, but when he thought about Su Junming's explanation when he left, he suddenly stopped. That's right, let's hurry up, don't delay the boss's plan. As he spoke, with a boost of mana, the miniature world above his head expanded instantly, and then quickly merged into the Xiantian world. The same goes for Aotian and Suda. 5 people, no one has opened up a world that is almost the same, equivalent to about 10 to 20% of the prehistoric world. Become a disciple of Taoist priest Four Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 1179. The Dragon Emperor and Chen Xianzang each have their own tasks. The Dragon Emperor and Chen Xianzang are responsible for capturing Taoist Xiantian and capturing Xiantian world. Ren Wuji, Aotian, Suda, Tiangong Taoist and Pan Tuo are responsible for opening up a low-grade Hunyuan world in chaos. With their Hunyuan golden immortals' perfect cultivation, doing this is a piece of cake. Now the 5 directions world, plus Xiantian world, is slightly larger than the prehistoric world. Regarding the integration of the world, Su Junming has accumulated rich experience in the past few years. The 7 people did this at the same time, but they saw thunder rolling between the sky and the earth, as if a storm was coming and the world would be destroyed. On the earth, the waves rolled and the earth dragon turned over. The huge commotion lasted for 3 years before it finally stabilized. It's done, Ren Wuji said excitedly. Stabilizing the way of heaven means that this is a stable world. Tiangong Taoist slapped the gourd on his waist, and a stream of people sprayed out from the gourd. It can be seen that each of these people carries a strong evil spirit, and they are obviously not good people. The number is said to be in the tens of billions. Oh my God, why are there so many people? Suda exclaimed. This is the world of Chongshan and the world of prehistoric times. There will be many heinous people accumulated by more than a dozen Yuan Hui. Of course, there will be a lot of them, Tiangong Taoist said. As soon as these thieves who had been detained for a long time were freed, the first thing they thought of was to hide. Therefore, it had only been an hour since he was released by Taoist Tiangong, and there were no more people to be seen. However, with the magical powers of the 7 people, they can certainly see the strong human energy in the vast land. What do you mean, boss? If you don't kill these guys, why are you keeping them here? Pan Tuo said. Of course it's to confuse Hung Jun. Although I have used my life method to cover up the secret of heaven, if there are not many people in this world, if Hung Jun finds out the clues, our plan will fail. Aotiandeo. As soon as he finished speaking, he took out a large red cauldron, and strong luck soared into the sky. Not Zhou Ding. Pan Tuo recognized it instantly. This is one of the treasures of Chongshan Academy. Every academy disciple has a projection of this treasure in his danshan. Aotian urged the Buzhu cauldron, and in an instant red light filled the sky. In the entire world, almost all races have a projection of Buzhu cauldron in their danshan. He nodded with satisfaction and put the cauldron away. This will make it more realistic. Grandmas, there are so many twists and turns in it. It's not an easy job to scheme against Hung Jun, the Dragon Emperor said. Okay, it's time for us to leave. I'm still waiting there. Chen Xianzang clapped his hands. Everyone nodded and took action at the same time, urging the world to fly towards the primeval world. With their cultivation level, their speed suddenly increased. Su Junming sat cross-legged in the Hunyuan stone ball in the chaos sea of Chongshan world. The chaotic energy billowing around him was swallowed into his body. The gourd vines in the dantian are sparkling with spiritual light, and the Dian divine mirror held up by the vines is shining with divine light. Ever since the gourd vine advanced to Hongmeng and gave birth to the 13th life path gourd, Su Junming fed it the divine ball of heaven. The treasures at the bottom of the box in his hand are the calabash vine and the Dian mirror. The higher your cultivation level, the fewer treasures you have on hand. As for Chongshan residents, the storage gourd and the green bamboo staff, if they were not the hallmarks of Chongshan disciples, he would have discarded them long ago. Suddenly, the fate gourd and the Dian divine mirror burst into auras of light. Su Junming saw this and quickly vibrated the destiny talisman. You can see the shadow of a jade disc in the dark, constantly impacting the network woven by Dian divine mirror, fate deo gourd and fate deo talisman. Again and again, it takes a long time to disappear. Secretly he breathed a sigh of relief. Old Hung Jun is really cautious. In just 3,000 years, such calculations have been made dozens of times. Dad, look, Sanking can't hold on any longer. Su Bui's exclamation woke up Su Junming, whose mind had sunk into his dantian. Turning to look at the water mirror on the left, the picture inside clearly showed the still fierce fighting in the starry sky. After fighting for 3,000 years, they have the support of heaven and earth behind them, plus the elixirs and spiritual materials they usually reserve. This will be almost consumed. The Taoism that once destroyed heaven and earth at every turn has now shrunk dozens of times. It can be seen that everyone has reached the end of their strength. This is especially true for Sanking. The previously magnificent Pangu's true body is now scarred and has become insubstantial. It seemed like it would collapse at any moment. In contrast, although the Dai Huang clan and the human Huang clan on the opposite side consume a lot of money by activating the Qinqin sword, as the patriarchs of the Taishu human race, they have endless resources in their hands. At this point, you can still have the upper hand. Junming, why don't we take action? Nuwa couldn't hold back her anger. Although Fuxi was suppressing the ghosts, if the Sanking was defeated, the liberated Daihuang clan and Renhuang clan would definitely break the current balance. By then, Fuxi was in danger. Su Junming did not look back, but he knew that his disciples, as well as the giant spirit god, Wuzu, Jian, and Zunti not far away, were all looking at him. Just when he was hesitating, Renwuji's voice sounded in his heart. Boss, everything you asked has been completed. His heart was shaken, Shua, and he stood up. The disciples behind him also stood up. Looking at the expectant eyes, you come with me. With a wave of his sleeves, a space channel appeared in mid-air. With one step, he flew in. All the disciples, Zhuling Shenzhen, Wuzu, Jian, and Zunti, followed one after another. When he reappeared, he had already arrived in a huge world. Dad, where is this? Su Bui asked. Not just him, everyone is curious. And they can clearly sense the strong mountain aura in the heavenly realm of this world. You don't need to worry about the details of this world, just activate your magic power, control this world, and follow me to capture the monsters of the Desolate Beast clan. Yes. Driven by Renwuji and others, this world is not far from prehistoric times. Following the trend of more than a dozen Hunyuan golden immortals, they moved very quickly and soon saw the figure of the wild god world. At the same time, Su Junming left his past body to guard this world, while his real body came to the chaos to join Renwuji and the others. Time was running out and he didn't want to waste any time. Lao Lu, where are the things? Chen Xianzang slapped the storage gourd. 2 straw men flew out. To be precise, they are 2 puppets made of rattan. One is 3 inches high and the other is 1 foot high. Although it is inconvenient to the head and face, it exudes a strong breath of curse. And the aura of the 1 foot tall puppet far surpassed that of the other one. The 2 sides are not on the same level. Su Junming held it in his hand and danced for a moment. In order to enhance the power of the 2 puppets who were given the nail-headed 7 arrows book, he did not hesitate to use the vines of the gourd vine as spiritual materials. Success or failure depends on this. As soon as he patted the green gourd on his waist, accompanied by a strong spiritual light, a figure shrouded in black robes and filled with evil energy appeared. It's Rehu. Su Junming can forgive Jingyanzanti, even Cheni, Daihuang clan, and Renhuang clan, but he will not bypass him. In order to practice the four swords of killing immortals, hundreds of millions of living beings died in his hands throughout the ancient western wilderness. This is a devil who will do anything for personal gain. Therefore, after catching him, Su Junming used his magical power to train him into a wishful body. With a wave of his hand, two puppets flew into Luohu's hands. The latter crushed a teleportation talisman and disappeared instantly. Seeing him leave, Su Junming took a deep breath. Opening his palm, a fist-sized bead flew towards Chen Xianzang. Lao Qi, King Lian's chaos bead is for you to use for the time being. The latter took a deep breath and took it. This time Su De didn't ask for the treasure. He knows the priorities. What follows is a critical moment that they have planned for several Yuanhui events. If they cross it, the sea and the sky will be vast. If they cannot cross it, they will suffer the wrath of the two Hongmeng masters, and life or death will be unpredictable. I will send the Desolate God Tower and the Qinqin sword back as soon as I get them. Ren Wuji and Su De nodded. Everyone, get ready. I'll be back soon. After saying that, Su Junming activated the space talisman and his figure disappeared instantly. At the same time, in the prehistoric world, the integration of the Taoist human world, the Earth Dragon world and the Ghost world has come to an end. The battle between the two sides has reached its final moment. The once prehistoric starry sky has been reduced to nothingness. All the planets were beaten into powder by the powerful Taoism. After 3,000 years of fighting, the two sides have been fighting to the point where they are almost exhausted, and naturally they have become red-eyed. Boom! The powerful sword energy spanned tens of millions of miles and hit a Tai Chi diagram heavily. The bursting spiritual energy stirred for millions of miles, and finally disappeared. The Daihuang clan and the Renhuang clan were panting. They never expected that Sanking could still resist so much after experiencing the exhaustion of killing Hung Jun. After holding on for 3,000 years, I haven't seen any signs of failure. Looking at the flashing light of Pangu on the opposite side, which seemed to be about to collapse at any time, the two of them gritted their teeth with hatred. Although this Pangu shadow is getting weaker and weaker, its resilience is unexpectedly strong. After hundreds of years, it has been unable to collapse, which is simply incredible. Normally, they would have given up long ago. But now, they have no choice. The Danshan, which is almost dry, can no longer activate the powerful swords of Qian and Kun. The Pangu axe on the opposite side had long since disintegrated into Tai Chi diagrams and Pangu flags. But the magical powers of both sides are still powerful. Qinqin sword Qi. Another powerful sword energy flew away from the palms of the Daihuang clan and the Renhuang clan. The mighty sword light hit the Tai Chi diagram heavily. At this moment, Pangu's shadow behind him suddenly trembled violently. The Daihuang clan and Renhuang clan looked excited instantly. They couldn't hold on anymore. The two of them activated their sword light again. After 3 times in a row, Sanking, who had exhausted his mana, could no longer hold on. Pangu's shadow shattered, and the pale and weak Tais Hang, Yuanqi, and Tong Tian flew out. Damn it! Fuxi was anxious, regardless of his own safety, and rushed over to save the 3 people. But the ghost on the opposite side shook his soul flags one after another and tried his best to stop him. Haha, we won after all. The Daihuang clan and the Renhuang clan looked happy and subconsciously prepared to use their sword energy to kill Sanking. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Become a disciple of Taoist priest 4 Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 1180. Right now. Boom. The earth-shattering bell rang. In an instant, the mighty sound of the bell spread throughout the prehistoric world after the fusion. The monks from Daihuang clan, Renhuang clan, Sanking, Yagui and others were already close to running out of oil and lamps, and they could not stop Su Junming's soul-falling sound at all. For a moment, except for Fuxi, the souls of all the monks were shaken down. Soon, a huge azure divine light flew out of Su Junming's body and expanded around him like lightning. In just a moment, the world after the fusion of the human world, the ghost world, the earth dragon world and the prehistoric world was enveloped. With his space skills at the Hongmeng realm, it is not difficult to do this. Then the azure divine light in the sky quickly retracted. All living creatures in the world, including the earthly emperor and the human emperor, were sealed and captured. Take Fuxi away from this merged world. In the chaos, Su Junming flew over with Nuwa, Juling Shenzhen, Yang Mei, and others. Just like the Taishu human realm, it hit the desolate god realm heavily. Boom. The crystal wall systems of the two realms were shattered, and the heavenly Dao began to fight each other. The cultivators also subconsciously rushed forward. Haha, Yang Mei, Juling Shenzhen, Su Junming's son, Nuwa, the god, have been waiting for you for a long time. With the arrogant sighs, Shen and I rushed forward menacingly. Behind him followed the elephant-headed demon. He had long been unable to hold himself back, holding a spear in his hand and full of evil energy. Su Junming, come and fight with me, the Ganesha. Behind it is a Taishu human race with 2 heads and 4 arms. Each of its 4 arms is holding a giant knife, with a wild look on its face. New Wa is mine, no one can take her away from her. The other Hunyuan Xianxian behind, as well as a group of existences in the Hunyuan realm, rushed through the intersection of the two realms with great momentum. Suddenly Shen and I stopped. Because he was huge, Ganesha, who was unable to dodge, almost hit him. The same goes for the people in the back. There were complaints for a while. Master God, why did you stop suddenly? Before he finished speaking, he felt a dozen extremely powerful auras pressing over him. He looked up subconsciously. A figure wearing a green Taoist robe, a green gourd hanging from his waist, and his hair tied with a gold ring came into view. That's right, it's Su Junming who has seen it countless times. Next to them are 2 women who look very similar. One is wearing a long cyan skirt and is dressed as a woman. The look she looks at them can kill people. The person next to him wearing a white dress also had frost on his face. 3 Hunyuan golden immortals are nothing, but look at the big vote behind them. Gudu. Ganesha heard the sound of swallowing behind him. Clearly nervous. By the way, he was also nervous. There are a total of 19 Hunyuan golden immortals, among which 3 are perfect Hunyuan golden immortals, 4 are late-stage Hunyuan golden immortals, and the rest are basically middle-stage Hunyuan golden immortals. This lineup, before the prehistoric era, they were not afraid. But now, they are simply crushed. Shen and I was shocked. He had long thought that Chongshan Academy must have hidden a lot of power, but he never expected it to be so much. Looking at Su Junming flying over, a stiff smile appeared on his face. Fellow Taoist Su, I have misunderstood. Our desolate god realm has no intention of becoming an enemy of Chongshan. Haha, I didn't expect that the majestic beast Emperor Shen and I could sometimes mean what he said, Su Junming said sarcastically. Shen and I twitched the corner of his mouth, and a trace of evil flashed in his eyes. But the situation is stronger than the people. Although he has the desolate god tower, looking at the huge red sword that the giant spirit god is holding on his shoulder, his aura is not bad at all. Seeing how he was willing to serve Su Junming as his master, you knew he had been surrendered. Su Junming can subdue the giant spirit god who holds the low-grade Hongmeng spiritual treasure, so he can naturally deal with him who has the desolate god tower. Without the blessing of the low-grade Hongmeng Lingbao, he would be no match for his own strength alone. His spiritual consciousness connects with the great Zhou celestial node placed in the tower of the wild god. Looking at the current situation, his chances of obtaining Pangu's inheritance and Hongmen's secret are very slim. It can even endanger your life, so it's time to contact the Supreme Lord Tianxing, take the initiative to reveal the secret, and seek a chance to save your life. Thinking of this, he suddenly activated his consciousness and crushed the talisman. But in his imagination, the figure of Lord Tianxing who accepted him as his named disciple did not appear. How could this be? Isn't it strange that your magic talisman doesn't work? The clear voice sounded like thunder in Shen Anai's ears. How do you know? His eyes were fixed on the guy opposite. Su Junming smiled faintly and raised his hand to point. Look. Shen Anai subconsciously looked up, a look of shock appeared on his face. An unimaginably large gourd vine coiled around the two worlds. That extremely powerful aura made him understand. Hongmeng spiritual root. No, it's not just the Hongmeng spiritual root, but also the power of the seal. Shen Anai felt the strange and vast power in it. What a powerful sealing power. It is rumored that Su Junming is not practicing space Dao. Why is there such a powerful sealing Dao realm? Shen Anai can't understand it. But he no longer cared about looking for the answer, and quickly raised the desolate god tower, and the mighty divine light rose into the sky. An octagonal 9-story stone tower millions of feet high, carrying the extremely rich Wu Tu Dao charm, protected himself and the surrounding subordinates below. The powerful sealing power was quickly blocked by the Wu Tu aura of the god of desolation tower. But he soon realized something was wrong. The mana he input into the god of desolation tower was flowing away at an alarming speed. It was as if there was a gigantic beast swallowing up his mana. How could this happen? Shen Anai was shocked. No, I can't sit still and wait for death. After losing 30% of his mana, Shen Anai gritted his teeth. Activate the god of desolation tower. Wu Tu divine thunder. A series of mighty earth yellow divine thunder exploded. The power of the 5 elements thunder technique in the Hongmeng realm is no less powerful than the heavenly tribulation thunder. The burst of thunder instantly interrupted the gourd vine swallowing. Taking this opportunity, Shen Anai activated the pagoda and flew into the distance like lightning. He wants to escape. Only by escaping can you have a chance to survive. Otherwise, there is only a dead end today. You subdue the remaining guys, and I'll catch Shen Anai. After handing over the remaining Hunyuan golden immortals to Nuwa, Yang Mei, Juling Shenzhen and others, Su Junming activated the space method and arrived in front of Shen Anai like lightning. If you can't run away, just capture him without mercy. Don't even think about it. With an angry shout, he activated the desolate god tower, manifesting its size hundreds of millions of feet, and crashed into it with a force as strong as a mountain and as heavy as a mountain. Su Junming saw this and felt something in his heart. A huge, azure-colored arm soared into the sky. It was the giant arm of destruction that had been taken back from Chen Xianzang. Boom! There was an earth-shattering explosion. Before the mighty aftermath could erupt, it was completely swallowed up by the strange force. Wu Tu Taoism is known for its robustness. Coincidentally, Su Junming's giant arm of destruction, combined with his martial arts body, is also unparalleled in strength. The two-way battle seems to be evenly matched for the time being. However, Su Junming is a master of both martial arts and Taoism, so he has great stamina. However, Shen Anai had already lost 30% of his mana, and the gourd vine kept sucking it in. The more the fight continues, the worse the situation will become. Shen Anai obviously knew this, but although his escape technique was fast, it was never as good as Su Junming's space Dao. In addition, Su Junming always hit him with the destruction giant arm, forcing him to use the desolate god tower to resist. And every time the god of desolation tower is activated, it will consume a huge amount of his mana. For a moment, giant arms filled the sky, and the sun shone brightly. The dull beating sound was like thunder. Visible to the naked eye, the aura of the desolate god tower is getting dimmer. As a Hunyuan golden immortal, it consumes too much mana to activate the god of desolation tower that is inconsistent with his own path. And Su Jun made it clear that he wanted to compete with him for magic power. Continuous rapid blows made it impossible for Shen Ni to escape even if he wanted to. Once you leave the protection of the god of desolation tower, you will be beaten to pieces by the powerful arm of destruction in the next second. Feeling the increasingly powerful countershock coming from the god of desolation tower, a feeling of despair rose from the bottom of my heart. Am I going to die here as a god? He somewhat regretted why he came back. If he had stayed in the Jamfu True Realm, as a registered disciple of Lord Tianxing, he would have received some guidance. Although the road to the Hongmeng realm was extremely long, there was still a chance. But now, most of his mana has been consumed, and he will not be able to escape death in a quarter of an hour at most. Wow! A mouthful of blood spurted out. The huge countershock force had already damaged his inner palace. Staring at the giant arm holding up the heavens and the Jedi, Shen Ni's expression became more and more fierce. Even if I blow myself up, I will never be humiliated by you. Don't worry, fellow Taoist Cheni, I, Chongshan, have no grudges against your desolate beast clan, so I have no intention of killing you. I will let you go free as soon as this immeasurable calamity is over. Shen Ni was shocked, and his thoughts of self-destruction subsided instantly. Who wants to die if there is hope of living? Are you serious? Nature. As soon as he finished speaking, a countershock force that was dozens of times stronger than before suddenly came. The aura of the desolate god tower was scattered, and it was instantly knocked away. The god vomited blood, his face was as thin as gold paper, and he had been shocked. Before he could react. Boom! The earth-shattering sound of the bell swept across the entire wild god realm. Shen Ni, who was seriously injured, could not stop the powerful soul-destroying divine sound, and was instantly knocked out of his soul. The Hunyuan golden immortals such as the Ganesha and the snake demon who were fighting with the disciples of Chongshan were also shaken and their souls were scattered, unable to help the Lord. Of course Chongshan disciples would not let go of such an opportunity. They took action one after another to suppress their respective opponents. Su Junming put away Shen Ni, waved his sleeves, and a space channel appeared in mid-air, sending the Tower of Desolation, the giant arm of destruction, and the twin swords of heaven and earth into it. With these three magic weapons, all 8 of them have Hongmeng Lingbao to suppress their luck. Of course, the chaos bead must be returned to Qinglian afterwards, but if everything goes as he expected, Chen Xuanzang's Hongmeng Lingbao will soon be found. With overwhelming strength, the Chongshan disciples quickly eliminated the remaining elites of the Desolate Beast clan and the 2 Hunyuan golden immortals from the Taishu human clan. Because Su Junming had explained early in the morning that he only captured him but did not kill him. Become a disciple of Taoist priest 4 Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 1181. Dad, look, I caught this big guy. As soon as she came back, her daughter Su Bui used the protective spiritual treasure Hunshan Ling given to her by Nuwa to lead a Taishu human who had his arms tightly bound. Hunshan Ling is a sealed spirit treasure, and was later trained by Su Junming to reach the peak of Hunyuan. It is not difficult to seal a middle-stage golden immortal of Hunyuan. Kill or behead him, please do as he pleases. If I, Hongfeng, frown, I am not a human hero. Although he said something tough, the violent fluctuations in his soul showed that his heart was not as calm as he appeared. Don't worry, I won't kill you. He stretched out his hand to grab it, and Hun Tianling automatically loosened it, and the Taoist human race called Hongfeng also flew into the green gourd around his waist. A mighty aura swept across the scene, collecting all the detained desolate beast tribes and Taoist human tribes behind the green gourd. His eyes swept over Nuwa, Fenki, Yang Mei, and others. "You come with me." After everyone responded, they followed Su Junming and returned to chaos again. In a moment, all realms will merge and heavenly secrets will appear. This is a rare opportunity. You can take this opportunity to understand the great path. Yes. All the disciples responded respectfully. Nuwa sent a message and said, "Do you want to merge these worlds with the world of Chongshan? If you do this, it will be difficult for Chongshan world to reach the level of the primitive era, and it will not lead to a catastrophe of world promotion. Don't worry, I have my own solution. By the way, Fuxi was seriously injured. You should take Fenki and the two children to see their uncle." Nuwa nodded, concern showing on her face. She and her brother Fuxi have been together since ancient times. They have gone through countless hardships and obstacles together, and their relationship is extremely deep. "Then I'll go first." Nuwa took Fenki, Su Bui, and Su Bui back to Hunyuan Stone Ball. After they left, only Yang Mei, Zhen Yuanzi, Hongyuan and other 10 Hunyuan golden immortal disciples were left around, as well as Juling Shenzhen and Wuzhu, as well as Jiyin and Zunti. The two guys at the back rolled their eyes, obviously having extra thoughts about the departure of Nuwa and others. Su Junming didn't care about them either. "Point your finger." The gourd vines surrounding the two worlds quickly retracted and soon became 100 feet in size, surrounding the cultivators in the middle. Surrounded by a powerful Hongmeng spirit treasure, Yang Mei, Zhen Yuanzi and other disciples naturally felt at ease. The giant spirit god, Wuzhu, and Jiyin Zunti felt a little uneasy in their hearts. However, after seeing the powerful power of this gourd vine, they did not dare to prick it. Taking a slight breath, Su Junming raised his right palm and pointed it at the merging desolate god realm and Xiantian realm. Pantuo divine palm. The mana and blood in his body turned into a huge palm that covered half of the world. "Hey," with a low voice, earth-shattering mana and energy and blood rolled out. The two worlds slowly began to move, flying straight towards the ancient world that had merged with the Taoist human world, the Earth Dragon world and the Ghost world. After a while, Su Junming's expression turned pale to the naked eye. This is caused by excessive consumption of mana and blood. After all, he had continuously activated the calabash vine and used the destruction giant arm to fight against Shen Ni, which had consumed a lot of energy. This will move the world and consume a lot of mana. "Teacher, let's do it," Yang Mei said. "That's fine. We'll do it at the same time." Zhang Shinian, Zhen Yuanzi and others nodded and activated their magic power at the same time. However, the giant spirit god, Wuzhu, Jiyin, and Zunti were still in front of them, so they sent their mana over. Obviously, they also want to work harder to avoid being liquidated by Su Junming. There wasn't a fool present who could more or less guess what they were thinking, but no one said much. More than a dozen Hunyuan golden immortals took action at the same time, and the flying speed of the two worlds instantly increased several times. In addition, the two sides are not far apart. Soon, the three worlds began a new round of integration. Activate the Dian Divine Mirror and look at the existence hidden in the depths of the prehistoric world, completely shrouded in wisps of white mist. Hung Jun, everything is ready for you, it's time to take action. As soon as the thought fell, the Dian Divine Mirror and gourd vine in the Danshan bloomed again, and soon the phantom of a milky white jade disc appeared. When Su Junming sensed it in his heart, he activated the Destiny Magic Talisman, combined with the Dian Divine Mirror and the gourd vine, to form layers of restrictions, surrounding the phantom of the jade disc. The phantom of the jade disc rushed left and right, but it was always difficult to break through the blockade, and finally dissipated invisible. He breathed a sigh of relief. Hung Jun is really cautious. Even at the last moment, the meat is right in front of him, and he still has to calculate it first. Time passed little by little, and there was still no movement in Xixiao Palace. Su Junming couldn't help but frown. Did he discover something? After sorting out his plan from beginning to end, and finding that there were no mistakes or omissions, he calmed down his anxious thoughts and waited quietly. The integration of the world does not happen overnight. Soon, 1,000 years passed. Just when Su Junming was thinking about how to deal with Hung Jun if his plan failed, a milky white mist, like orchid and musk deer, floated into the prehistoric world. It contains a strong sense of the Tao of creation, and contains a secret but magnificent will. Thanks to this good fortune, the prehistoric world grew rapidly, and the way of heaven, which was originally at a disadvantage, became strong again. Seeing this, Su Junming was shocked in his heart. Joyful yet nervous. Finally come. Because of the drastic changes in the way of heaven and the turmoil in the three worlds, no one noticed this subtle change except Su Junming, who had the Dian divine mirror and could pay close attention to the Xixiao Palace. As the milky white mist becomes more and more abundant, the heavenly Dao of the prehistoric world becomes stronger and stronger. Gradually, the heavenly ways of the desolate God realm and Xiantian realm are getting weaker and weaker. Teacher, something is wrong. Yang Mei's slightly worried voice came. As the person with the highest cultivation level among Su Junming's subordinates, who was only one step away from breaking through Hongmeng, Yang Mei was the first to notice the abnormality. I know, don't make any noise. Hearing Su Junming's voice transmission, Yang Mei's heart moved slightly and she understood instantly. The teacher really has his own plan. Then he stopped talking. Soon, Dejun Qinglian also discovered something unusual. As the true reincarnation of Pangu, his qualifications are second only to the 8 of Su Junming. If he had not practiced for a long time, he would have surpassed Yang Mei and become the number 1 among the disciples. After also appeasing Dejun Qinglian, Zhen Yuanzi finally noticed. Su Junming did not comfort him this time. Otherwise, it will only arouse Hung Jun's suspicion. Just wait again. I'll come as soon as I go. After that, Su Junming left the gourd vine behind and flew straight towards the ancient world. In just a moment, he crossed the infinite space and arrived in the primitive world like lightning. Because of the continuous annexation of the world and Hung Jun's secret help, today's prehistoric world has expanded nearly 6 times in size compared to the medieval times, and the acquired spiritual energy in the heaven and earth has all been replaced by the innate spiritual energy of Tai Chi. The huge continent is turbulent and undergoing transformation all the time. Su Junming came to the place where Buzhu Mountain is located. The inland sea that he originally turned into after pulling out the mountain roots has turned into a real ocean. The demon clan who still stayed here, the soul clan who integrated into the post-prehistoric era, the desolate beast clan, and the human clan who Su Junming deliberately left behind and committed evil crimes. Disturbed by the huge celestial phenomena, I was like an ant on a hot pot, hiding here and there. Ignoring them, Su Junming stood with his hands behind his hands and looked up at the sky. Vast spiritual consciousness soared into the sky, wanting to practice the way of heaven in the prehistoric world. But before he could take action, an extremely powerful spiritual energy of creation poured into the ancient world. For a time, the entire prehistoric world was filled with powerful inspirations of creation. Facing the competition between the desolate God realm and the Xiantian realm, the way of heaven in the prehistoric world seems to have obtained countless delicious gourmets, devouring all the opportunities for creation. Rumble, the huge world changed instantly. Endless land is derived, and the ocean is rapidly expanding. The world is getting wider and wider, and the already huge prehistoric world has expanded more than 10 times in an instant. Suddenly, a vast will swallowed up the heavenly Dao of the desolate God realm and the Xiantian realm before the great desolate heavenly Dao. The heavenly Dao of the prehistoric world instantly became angry. There was thunder and lightning in the sky, as if it was the end of the world. Hung Jun, is that you? Shocked and angry voices echoed throughout the wilderness. Ha ha ha, Su Junming, it's useless for you to hide behind me, thinking that you have calculated everything, but in the end you still got married for me. Along with the wild laughter, black clouds billowed in the ancient sky, and soon, the figure of Hung Jun took shape. No, Master is in trouble. Zhang Shinian, Feng Zhangling and others saw this and subconsciously wanted to take action. Etc. Yang Mei stopped everyone. We will wait and see what happens, Master has his plans. Qingli and Daijun also nodded in agreement, just wait and see, the gourd vine has not moved, which means that the Master is far from being in crisis. Both of them received Su Junming's spiritual message, and of course they knew that the teacher had other plans. After hearing this, everyone looked at gourd vine, imagined the apparently unfamiliar world before, and somewhat understood it. Teacher, are you plotting against Hung Jun again? Everyone has a hidden understanding. We just wait and see what happens and act according to the teacher's instructions. Yang Mei had the highest prestige. He said this and everyone became quiet. Jiyan and Zunti looked at each other. The former shook his head and signaled to wait and see. Although their cultivation was not weak, it was not enough in front of Yang Mei and others. Coupled with the blockade of the calabash vine, there is no way to escape. In the prehistoric world, Su Junming looked calm, but the anger in his eyes was clearly visible. Hung Jun, do you think you will win if you take away the ancient world that I worked so hard to plan? The gigantic face transformed by the clouds in mid-air laughed loudly. Of course a Hunyuan world cannot stop you and the disciples you have carefully cultivated, but what if it is a Hongmeng true world? Su Junming exclaimed, you are crazy. Even if you swallow Chongshan, the god of desolation, and the human world of Taishu, the prehistoric world will not be able to reach the standard of overcoming the tribulation. Of course I'm not crazy. Have you seen these auras of creation? They are all transformed from the origin of heaven and earth in the prehistoric world. They are the heritage I have collected from the ancient times. As long as they are returned to the prehistoric era, this place will return to the primeval era. If you are so tyrannical, why worry about not being able to survive the disaster? Become a disciple of Taoist priest Four Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 1182. Hung Jun's hopeful words revealed deep confidence. For so many years, he has been hiding in the dark, taking advantage of every opportunity to dig out the origin of the ancient world bit by bit, and then pass on the cause and effect to others. Now it's finally time to show off and enjoy the fruits of victory. Of course you can't walk at night in brocade clothes. And after holding it in for so long, he really needed a show-off. Su Junming, a guy who, like him, planned the world and almost succeeded, is the best audience. What about the Pangu inheritance? If you swallow the ancient law of heaven, you will never get the Pangu inheritance and the secret of Hongmeng. Ha ha ha, Pangu inheritance, the secret of Hongmeng? Only fools like you will believe it. Seeing his proud look, Su Junming suddenly realized. Is everything done by you? Ha ha, that's right. For the strong men of all races in the world, only Pangu inheritance and the secret of Hongmeng can instigate them to launch a clan war to compete for the leading role in the prehistoric era. Only then can I have the opportunity to seek the origin of the prehistoric world, and then use the cause and effect pass it on to these idiots. Originally, I thought about how to perform this scene well, and let Chenyi, Daihuang clan, Renhuang clan, and Sanking fight to the death to help me complete the last step. I didn't expect that you, a guy like you, showed up on your own, and ran around in many directions to join forces with the three purities to kill me. It even triggered a war between Shen and I, the Daihuang clan, and the human Huang clan. You think what you are doing is secret, but in fact I see it all. I am just using your hand to realize my plan. Speaking of which, I would like to thank you. If you hadn't worked hard in many ways, I wouldn't have been able to achieve my goal of occupying the entire prehistoric world so perfectly, ha ha ha. Staring at Su Junming's face, which was dark and extremely angry, Hung Jun smiled even more freely. Don't worry, I won't kill you. A mere incarnation is not worth my while. Just stay here and watch me use the prehistoric world to achieve the wonderful realm of Hongmeng, ha ha ha. As he spoke, the prehistoric world had expanded to 100 times its previous size. The rich Taoist spiritual energy filled every corner of the world. Outside the world, billowing chaotic spiritual energy surged towards the prehistoric world like a galloping horse. Boom! The first thunder sounded. The mighty calamity aura filled the air. Soon, the entire prehistoric world was shrouded in a vast cloud of calamity that spanned billions and billions of miles. Because the movement was too loud, Yang Mei, Zhen Yuanzi and others who were originally far away from the ancient world were forced to retreat. The strange thing is that when they retreated, the gourd vine next to them also retreated. Gradually, the vast chaos was shrouded in calamity. If the area of the ancient wilderness was 1, the area of the primitive wilderness was 100, and now the area covered by the tribulation thunder is 1 million. The magnificent calamity cloud has completely surpassed everyone's imagination. Too big. Is this the world's advanced thunder tribulation? It's really powerful. Su Junming saw it and was secretly shocked in his heart. At this moment, Hung Jun had no intention of showing off to him. Concentrate on preparing for the catastrophe. After all, he is the way of heaven now, and he is the way of heaven. If he can't survive the catastrophe, he will be killed by the catastrophe. Boom! A purple thunderbolt that spread thousands of feet crashed down. Hung Jun didn't pay much attention to it and let it hit the ancient land. In an instant, the mountains and rivers were shattered, and hundreds of millions of miles were turned into scorched earth. All living beings within this range, regardless of their cultivation level, were killed to pieces. The world is going through a calamity, and the creatures in the world are also going through a calamity. Hung Jun is not Su Junming, and he can protect the living beings in the world from harm. He just wants to survive the catastrophe, and as long as he can succeed, he doesn't care about any means. Fortunately, most of the creatures from all walks of life were taken away by Su Junming and transferred to the world of Chongshan. The remaining ones were mostly evil beings, and they died when they died. One thunder disaster after another became more and more powerful. Just 60 passes later, the entire ancient land has been turned into a piece of glass by the powerful thunder tribulation. The once vast ocean has been evaporated by the powerful thunder. Only a huge basin was left exposed, welcoming thunder after thunder. There are 365 levels of thunder catastrophe in the Hunyuan world that has advanced to Hongmeng. It has just passed the 60th level, and it is still very early. Of course, despite the craters on the surface of the world, the foundation has not actually been damaged. 70 heavy, 90 heavy, 120 heavy. After more than 200 layers, the color of Gilei has turned into light red. By this time, it was obvious that just relying on the world's hard connection was no longer enough. If Hung Jun wants to survive the Hongmeng heavenly tribulation, he will certainly not be unprepared. Call. A mighty spiritual light soared into the sky. A Tai Chi diagram, a Pangu flag, and a chaos bell shroud the entire world in the middle according to the directions of the 3 talents. These 3 spiritual treasures had obviously just been refined recently, but the internal restrictions were no different from those of the Tai Chi diagram, Pangu flag, and chaos clock. Even the refined spiritual materials are at the Hongmeng level. However, the real 3 treasures of the opening heaven are the 3 treasures of the opening heaven of Pangu's prehistoric world, and they certainly cannot be used as the world's world-suppressing treasure. But after re-sacrifice, the 3 treasures without Pangu's brand are different. Each of the 3 treasures has its own magical uses. When assembled into a formation, the power is even more powerful, greatly weakening the power of the sky thunder. With their sharing, the power of the tribulation thunder falling on the earth is within the tolerance of the new world. Su Junming saw this and took a slight breath. He knew it was time to take action. Far away in the chaos, far away from the prehistoric world, Rahu was sitting cross-legged in meditation. No, to be precise, it was Su Junming's wishful body made from Rahu's physical body and Dharma body. He slowly opened his eyes. As Ruyi Shen has a small magical power in the Soul Dao, with Su Junming's current Soul Dao cultivation, he doesn't have to worry about being discovered. However, in order to be as successful as possible, Su Junming still practiced the light of the Dian Divine Mirror to protect Luo Hu's Sea of Consciousness. The combination of Tianji's changes in Dian's Divine Mirror gave him enough confidence. He reached into his arms and took out a bronze mirror. After inputting mana, a figure with a powerful aura and a head resembling a yaksha emerged. It was Luo Hu who tried every possible means to bring in the yaksha master who would break the prehistoric situation. Rahu meets the Supreme Being. Why are you looking for me? I am reporting to you, Your Majesty, that the great desolation is coming to an end. Hung Jun has made many plans to take over the great desolation. Hung Jun? Is he the chi practitioner who kicked you out? Disciple is ashamed. Okay, just wait there. I will be there in a moment. Disciple, obey. The bronze mirror flashed with brilliance, and the image in it quickly disappeared. Luo Hu stretched out his hand and the bronze mirror fell on his palm. The cook eats the ox. The magical power of Tiangong Dao instantly turned the bronze mirror into a pile of materials, including the top Hunyuan spiritual material Heavenly Soul Bronze. But Luo Hu, or Su Junming's eyes were fixed on the dark blue primordial spirit that exuded powerful pressure. He reached into his arms, and soon a 1-foot-tall puppet with powerful spiritual pressure appeared. The right hand becomes a sword finger, pointing at the soul. The puppet man's head shot out a bright bloody aura, which enveloped the soul and then retracted it instantly. However, he did not take away all the soul, but kept half. The two merged, and the aura on the puppet man's body instantly converged. In order to practice this Nailhead 7 Arrows book, Su Junming not only used the branches and leaves of the gourd vine, but also added the spirit of time and space. As long as the opponent's Taoism is not a level higher than his own, or he has a middle grade or above Hongmeng's spiritual treasure, he will never be able to detect the existence of the 7 Arrows book. Then he took out the 3-inch scarecrow in his arms, and after a while, he put it away carefully. Looking at the spiritual material in front of him, he stretched out his finger, and the rich spiritual energy of time poured out. With the magical power of returning to its origin, it was quickly restored to its original state. After pouring the remaining half of his soul into it, he breathed a sigh of relief. If I hadn't concealed the secret of heaven, my actions would have alarmed the Lord Night Demon. Sit down cross-legged and calm all distracting thoughts. I have done everything I can do. As for the result, it depends on God's will. Time passed little by little, and it was 3 years in the blink of an eye. Suddenly, Luo Hu, who was meditating with his eyes closed, opened his eyes. The flow of chaos energy has accelerated. In less than a quarter of an hour, the flow of chaotic energy that once seemed like a storm suddenly became hundreds of times stronger. If Luo Hu hadn't reached the peak of Hunyuan Golden Immortal, he would have been almost unsteady. Accompanied by the extremely violent and chaotic energy that almost destroyed the heaven and earth, an extremely majestic god and demon appeared in sight. Accompanied by the energy of chaos that resembles the roaring waves of a huge sea, from a distance, it seems like the supreme power has traveled through infinite time and come from ancient times. Even though there are hundreds of millions of miles away from the chaos, I can still clearly feel the vastness and the powerful oppression that hits my mind. This is a kind of pressure that comes from the soul. Is this the power of the Hongmeng realm? Fortunately, Su Junming's soul transformed into the Hongmeng soul with 4 souls and 9 souls long after the soul path broke through Hongmeng. So although I felt the pressure, I didn't have the trembling feeling of facing a high-level existence. However, the gigantic body, which was hundreds of billions of feet high, and the vastness, the powerful magic power of the vast ocean, made him feel like an ant again. At this moment, he even had some doubts. Was it wrong that he had tried so hard to plot against the Hongmeng master? Is this really something they can calculate? Take a breath and erase all distracting thoughts. The arrow was already on the string, and he could no longer hesitate. After noticing his presence, Lord Night Demon strode over. One step forward, and there is endless chaos. From what Su Junming could see, within half a quarter of an hour, the other party was already approaching. Stopped suddenly. The violent energy of chaos was like a stormy sea, and Rahu was suddenly thrown tens of millions of feet away before he stumbled and regained his composure. He quickly activated his magic power to fly back, and fell to his knees with fear on his face. Disciple Luahu pays homage to the Supreme Being. There was a flash of inspiration on Lord Night Demon, and his huge body slowly shrank, turning into 100 feet in an instant. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Become a disciple of Taoist priest 4 Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 1183. Looking down at the shivering little insect who was kneeling on the ground, a trace of contempt flashed across his face, but he quickly calmed down. Get up. A hoarse but thunderous voice sounded, and Luohu stood up tremblingly. The world in front of you that is going through a tribulation is what you call the prehistoric world. Although Luohu could not see any trace of Hong Huang, the gaze of Lord Night Demon in the Hongmeng realm must have far surpassed his. Exactly. The background is quite good. Luohu, or Su Junming, lowered his head. Sure enough, most of his attention was attracted by Hong Huang. Teacher, Na Hongjun is already in the process of overcoming the tribulation now. If he succeeds by chance, wouldn't Pangu's inheritance have no chance with the teacher? Hey, don't worry. A Hongmeng true realm that has been patched together, even if it succeeds, is just a thing with the lowest potential. I am not afraid of him. Su Junming was about to use the cause and effect technique when his hand suddenly stopped. He recognized the broader message. It seems that for the same Hongmeng true realm, different ways of opening up will produce completely different results. He really wanted to ask, but he also knew that talking too much would lead to mistakes. Facing a Hongmeng Shangzun, there must be no mistakes, no matter how small. While Lord Night Demon is still unfamiliar with the ancient world that is going through the tribulation, he suddenly activated his magic power, turned it into a long needle, and stabbed the wooden man's head hard. With a bang sound, the puppet instantly exploded. The Lord Night Demon, who was watching the prehistoric world go through tribulations, suddenly noticed a powerful force of causality flying into the soul from the underworld. Instinctively urges mana to block. But the speed of the divine power of cause and effect is too fast, and the law of cause and effect contained in it is not under the law of Swanyan, which he majors in. Although part of it was blocked, most of it was missed. A sharp pain from his soul made him roar violently. Holding his head with both hands, his superior level auras suddenly dispersed. When Luohu was knocked away, he held the straw man in his right hand and put a silver needle in his hand. Different from the previous magic power, this silver needle is a top-quality Hunyuan spiritual treasure. You damn reptile! With an extremely angry roar, a huge three-pronged steel fork was knocked down from the air. That astonishing power was simply the power that created the world. Boom! Luohu was instantly beaten to death. But the straw man in his arms was instantly pierced by a silver needle. At this moment, Hongjun has survived 300 calamities. After 300 levels, each heavenly tribulation will rise to a higher level. However, the chaos bell, Tai Chi diagram and Pangu banner that Hung Jun spent nearly 100 yuanhui to cultivate are powerful enough to continuously weaken the intensity of the thunder tribulation. Cooperating with the prehistoric world, he can cross the pass through a series of catastrophes. Looking at this trend, it is not impossible to get over it. Hung Jun was secretly excited in his heart. His calculation was indeed correct. He could survive the catastrophe and achieve the wonderful realm. When the time comes, the reborn world will become his dojo. With this as his backing, he will be a top figure even among the Hongmeng masters. Suddenly, a heavy danger surged into my mind. Before Hung Jun could react, a black arrow with a strong curse appeared in the sea of consciousness. Subconsciously, he activated the jade disk of creation, but the black arrow was too fast, and it instantly penetrated the soul. The next moment, a strong spell force quickly corroded his soul. Not good. The jade disk of creation has a mighty aura and powerful spiritual power, which protects the soul and drives away the power of curses. But this strange force is extremely powerful, and the will within it has reached the realm of Hongmeng. Damn it, who plotted against me? Hung Jun was shocked and angry. Before today's tribulation, he had already calculated it thousands of times, but the result was the same every time. He can successfully advance to Hongmeng. And there are no surprises in between. Are you surprised? The sound reached my ears clearly. It's you. Hung Jun glared angrily. Hundreds of millions of miles apart, Su Junming smiled calmly. That's right. Impossible, how could you possibly deceive me? His jade dish of creation is an artifact of the prehistoric world, and he is the best at fortune telling. After getting it from the Taoist era, whether it was the Pangu inheritance that provoked wars among tribes, or later he plotted against Luohu, he was always unfavorable. Therefore, he has deep confidence in the jade disk of good fortune and his own divine magic. The strongest has its own strong hand. You think you can count the world? Don't you know that today you are also counted by me? Before he finished speaking, there was a boom. The powerful 329 thunder tribulations were defeated, and without Hung Jun's control, the three treasures of Chaos Bell, Tai Chi diagram, and Pangu flag could only exert 30% of their 100% effect. Instantly overwhelmed by thunder. The prehistoric world could not withstand such a powerful thunder and was directly penetrated. Hung Jun, who is now the prehistoric Tiandao, was severely injured in an instant. The power of heaven and earth in the prehistoric world was reduced by 20 to 30% in an instant. Facing the more powerful thunder tribulation behind him, Hung Jun was destined to fail in overcoming the tribulation. But he couldn't wait for the next thunderstorm. With his strength greatly reduced, he could no longer suppress the power of the curse in his soul. In an instant, the entire soul was corrupted. No. With strong unwillingness, Hung Jun died, the way of heaven collapsed, and the tribulation failed. But the catastrophe has not dissipated. Rumble, boom, a sound like a bull roaring, containing some kind of anger. Gradually, all the lightning disasters turned into a giant spear, flying towards the chaos like lightning. At the same time, the Lord Night Demon in the depths of the chaos also felt a bad feeling in his heart. In fact, he had this feeling as early as when he destroyed Luohu in a fit of rage. When the world in the distance failed to overcome the tribulation, all the thunder tribulations turned into billions of meters of thunder spears and flew towards him. He instantly understood that he had been plotted. Apparently someone used some secret method to transfer the cause and effect of the failure of interfering with the other party's tribulation onto his head. Thinking of the soul injury he suffered just now, a kind of extremely aggrieved anger filled the bottom of my heart. As one of the three great deities of the Jambudvi realm, he is always respected wherever he goes. When has he ever suffered such a big loss? No matter who you are, when I get through this calamity, I will find you out and cut you to pieces. With an angry roar, Lord Night Demon waved the 3 steel forks in his hand and hit the thunder gun directly. There is no way to escape the punishment that comes directly from the Great Road. Boom! The earth-shattering thunder shook the boundless chaos. The powerful force directly turns everything around it into nothingness. The power of a single blow is astonishing. Ahem! The Lord Night Demon, who was hundreds of billions of feet tall, was in extremely miserable condition at this moment. A huge scar ran from the left shoulder to the right span. The skin and flesh were rolled up, and the bones and internal organs deep down could even be seen. The 3-stranded steel fork originally held in his right hand had been broken into 2 sections. Waterfall-like lavender blood rolled down his body. Obviously, the thunderstorm just now caused him serious injuries. Wow! After coughing for a while, a mouthful of blood spurted out. The deep purple face actually turned a lot paler, showing the depth of the trauma. The resentment in my heart is simply indescribable. He just wanted to make a profit, but he didn't expect to suffer such a big loss, and he almost died before. Ah! Yelled angrily. No matter who you are, I will peel off your skin and convulse you, and your soul will be roasted on the ghost fire for 10,000 yuan. The words have not yet been spoken. Boom! The bells like a yellow bell and a big loo resounded through billions of miles of chaos. The Lord Night Demon, whose soul was injured by the power of the curse and severely injured by the catastrophe, fell into a trance for an instant. In the chaos behind him, a large black hole instantly appeared, and a huge gourd vine flew out from it, tightly trapping Lord Night Demon like lightning. In a moment, several more void passages emerged. A 5-color sword light, like a sky-shattering rainbow, with astonishing sharpness, passed around the neck. The huge head, Giluk, fell down. At the same time, a long silver-white needle passed through the chest and heart and flew out through the back. There was another chaotic giant bead weighing hundreds of millions of feet, like a spark hitting the earth, with an earth-shattering impact, hitting his dantian hard. The muscles and bones that had been injured in the calamity were unable to withstand this powerful blow, and were instantly beaten into minced meat. A 36th grade blue lotus sheds heavy light, covering billions of chaos, and the powerful spiritual light of creation isolates the inside and outside. Wow! With the sound of chains, hundreds of iron ropes exuding the breath of the soul flew into the Night Demon's body. In an instant, a stiff, half-broken soul was pulled out. It sounds long, but in fact it doesn't even last half a moment. Crash! A violent struggle sounded. You damn ants! A furious roar rose from the half-broken soul. Mad, help, I can't control him anymore. Renwuji grasped the soul-binding rope with his hand, and the mana in his body was rapidly depleted. The gourd vine stretched over instantly and quickly coiled up the soul. Damn, what the hell? Lord Night Demon felt that his soul was rapidly absorbed by a strange force. Unconsciously, the power becomes weaker and weaker. Boom! Pantuo walked over with the chaos bell in his hands, and it shook violently. The sound of the soul-destroying bell is enhanced by the chaos bell and only hits the Night Demon's soul. But it can be seen that the sound of Luahun this time is much inferior to that at the beginning. But without the protection of the physical body, it directly acts on the soul, and the power does not seem to have dropped much. Night Demon Yuan Shen, who was once again frozen, was quickly devoured and refined by the soul gourd. After being fed by the soul of Lord Hongmeng, this gourd that was only one step away from breaking through immediately showed signs of overcoming the tribulation. Su Junming quickly acted and temporarily sealed this power. After shaking the space gourd and taking away Lord Night Demon's body, he truly breathed a sigh of relief. It seems that it is not that difficult to kill a Hongmeng master. Renwuji put away his soul-binding magic power and said with a smile. If he hadn't been set up by me and was seriously injured by the thunder of thunder, I'm afraid that if the 8 of us go together, we may not be his opponent. Ao Tian withdrew the Jushin needle. No matter what, we won in the end. Su De put away the god of desolation tower, and according to the order of attack, he shot after Renwuji. But before he could take action, the opponent was suppressed. Become a disciple of Taoist priest 4 Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 1184. Let's go, it's time for us to go back after this is over, Su Junming said. Although everyone is smiling happily now, in fact everyone knows that this time they are really risking their own lives. If you make a wrong move, not only will you be doomed, but you will also lose everything you have accumulated in these $10, and you may even bring down the world of Chongshan. It's really extremely dangerous. Of course, if he had the choice, he would not be willing to be an enemy of a Hongmeng lord. But the other party has already set his sights on the prehistoric world. Unless he runs away immediately, the feeling of having a Hongmeng Shangzun peeking behind him and not knowing when he will come to his door is simply unsettling. Let's go, Hong Jun is dead, and Hong Huang is ours, Renwuji said excitedly. Su Junming has little interest in the ancient ruins. After experiencing the destruction of the thunder, it will take several Yuanhui to recover. In contrast, he wanted to merge the Jade Disc of Good Fortune and the Divine Mirror of Dian. A top-notch Hongmeng Lingbao is exciting to imagine. Back in the prehistoric era, Yang Mei, Zhen Yuanzi and others had long been sent back to the world of Chongshan by Su Junming. Staring at the huge world surrounded by blue crystal walls, I couldn't help but feel a deep joy in my heart. After the baptism of heavenly tribulation, the way of heaven in the prehistoric world completely collapsed. Of course, if left unchecked, at most a dozen Yuanhui and the new Tiandaohui will gradually condense. That will be a new world again. It is neither the prehistoric world opened by Pangu nor Hung Jun's world, but Su Junming is not ready to give it this chance. There is no obstacle from heaven, and it is completely seamlessly connected with the world of Chongshan. After swallowing it, after more than a dozen Yuanhui gestations, it was time for Chongshan world to break through Hongmeng. It's up to you. Su Junming can't wait to merge the Dian Divine Mirror with the Jade Slip of Good Fortune. Correct. With a wave of his hand, 3 spiritual treasures flashing dim spiritual light flew towards Taoist Tiangong. These are the remains of the Chaos Bell, Tai Chi diagram and Pangu flag that were practiced by Hung Jun. The power does not have to be inferior to the genuine ones. You can make a Pangu axe and give it to Lao Ba. Taoist Tiangong nodded, reached out and put the things away. Hey, Lao Chi, I'm going to leave all my brother's treasures to you. Pan Tuo's face was filled with joy. With the Pangu axe and the Chaos Bell, he has all the spiritual treasures of martial arts and sealing. With them protecting you, you can try to break through the Hongmeng. Lao Lu, I have the steel fork of Lord Yaksha here. If you think of any treasure to practice, just send a message to me and I will make it for you. Chen Xianzang nodded. After arranging everything, Su Junming took a step back to Chongshan residence. After seeing Fuxi and comforting Nuhua, she returned to the chaotic stone ball and began to retreat. Calmly. With a movement in his heart, the auras sprayed out, and along with the white aura like orchid and musk deer, a jade plate composed of 36 milky white jade slips appeared in parallel. Although the name is Jade Disc of Creation, this jade slip is not a divine object of creation like the Chaos Green Lotus. Like the Dian Divine Mirror, it does not contain any specific principles. However, the two are similar. They are both Hongmeng spiritual treasures that contain 6 Hongmeng prohibitions. However, after absorbing the projections of many jade discs of creation in the prehistoric shadow world, the Dian Divine Mirror derived the 7th prohibition. This is also the key reason why Su Junming was able to cover up Tianji and plot against Hung Jun in the end. In addition, the Dian Divine Mirror contains 3 fundamental magical powers. The Dian Divine Light that can assist enlightenment, penetrates into the heavens, shines all over the world of Jambu, the billions of eternal sand worlds, and has reached the return to heaven and return to the sun of the fate of all living beings. It can imprint the restrictions of treasures and transform the infinite universe. Vientiane. The three great magical powers are powerful. Thanks to the Dian mirror, Su Junming was able to go all the way to where he is now. The same goes for the good fortune jade disc. The three basic magical powers are, first, the infinite creation. This is the magical power of creation, just like the divine light of creation that he comprehended. It can create something out of nothing, bless spiritual treasures, resurrect from the dead, and many other wonderful uses. It can even assist in understanding the way of creation. Second, Qi Men Dun Xie. It can calculate all the secrets of heaven, cover up the secrets of heaven, and even change the secrets of heaven. This is also the magical technique that Hung Jun uses to play with all living beings, step by step to become the teacher of all saints, and even almost become the Dao Hongmeng with the help of the ancient world. At the beginning, Su Junming used the two magical powers of returning to heaven and returning to the sun and Dian divine light to imprint the prohibition on the jade plate of creation, and used the great magical power of the universe to transform it into a jade plate of creation, thus suppressing Hung Jun's. Presumably, Hung Jun was finally cursed to death. The last great magical power is called No Shadow on the Ground. This is a magical power of invisibility. When Hung Jun faked his death to escape, he used this magical power to hide the location of Zixiao Palace. If it weren't for Su Junming's Dian divine mirror having one more level of restrictions than his jade disc of creation, it would be almost impossible to detect his existence. It can be seen that its profoundness and mystery are extraordinary. The three magical powers each have their own magical uses, and they are indeed powerful spiritual treasures restricted by the six paths of Hongmeng. With a thought in his heart, he no longer suppressed the Dian divine mirror that was about to move in his body. Shua, a powerful spiritual light burst out from Danshan. The Dian divine mirror, filled with auras of mighty aura and auspiciousness, instantly came to the side of the jade dish of creation and quickly rotated around it. It was as if Brother Chu was anxious, uneasy, and filled with strong admiration when he saw the beauty he admired. The good fortune jade disc was obviously also attracted by the grace of the Dian divine mirror, and auras of spiritual light bloomed. The two spiritual lights exchanged and gradually began to merge, turning into a giant light cocoon of about 10,000 feet. At the same time, the endless chaotic spiritual energy around it was also quickly swallowed by the light cocoon. Time passed bit by bit. The light cocoon is getting stronger and bigger. The aura within is becoming more and more powerful, and even if it leaks out occasionally, it contains indescribable vastness. Su Junming was full of expectations. The more powerful the better. In a sense, if the Dian divine mirror can really achieve the top Hongmeng spiritual treasure of the 12 Hongmeng spiritual forbidden, then he will have a greater chance of becoming a Hongmeng Tianzun. Seeing that the integration of the two will not end anytime soon, Su Junming also began to deal with his trophies. Lord Night Demon's soul has become the material of the soul gourd, which is enough for him to break through the boundaries of Hunyuan and advance to Hongmeng. The physical body of Hongmeng Shangzun contains powerful spiritual energy, which can be absorbed and refined to upgrade 1 or 2 gourds. The left palm spread out, and the 3 broken steel forks emerged. After pondering for a moment, he couldn't help but shook his head. This is a Hongmeng spiritual treasure with Swanyan attribute, which contains 2 Hongmeng prohibitions. It was obviously the natal spiritual treasure of the Lord Night Demon. He figured out the spiritual material properties of the 3-stranded steel fork and combined it with his Tiangong Dao cultivation. Although I don't know its name, with my methods, it is not difficult to cultivate the Swanyan spiritual treasure with 3 restrictions. He reached out and made a move, and a spiritual light flew out from the sealed gourd. This is a huge copper ring, a top Hunyuan spiritual treasure with 12 restrictions. The Lord Night Demon was dead, and Su Junming quickly left the mark of his soul on it. Soon, a huge space appeared in my heart. There are many things in it, and there are no ordinary things that can be favored by a superior. However, most of them are some Hunyuan level spiritual materials, there are hundreds of them, and the lowest ones are top grade, and there are nearly 100 pieces of the best Hunyuan spiritual materials. There are also nearly 1,000 spiritual roots and spiritual grasses of various Hunyuan levels. There are tens of thousands of Su Junming's favorite jade slips, of various kinds and with different flavors. With them, I can at least have a general understanding of Hongmeng Zunjing and the deeper depths of chaos. The copper ring shook, and several rays of precious light flew out. The largest was a corpse. It's trillions of feet tall. Although it's not as good as Tiangong Taoist's two-headed black tortoise body, the other party's aura is far superior to Tiangong Taoist's. The huge head is shaped like a tiger, and the body is covered with brown hair. It looks like a human body, but has 4 arms. The legs are strong and powerful, the soles of the feet are shaped like cow hooves, and a tiger tail is like an Optimus pillar. Although it is dead, you can still clearly feel the tenacity and huge power contained in it. This giant monster with the head of a tiger, human body, and ox hooves obviously died not long ago. The various scars on his body still exude an astonishing evil aura. Obviously, Lord Night Demon participated in the siege and killing of this tiger-headed god and demon. Moreover, he got the opponent's body and the magic weapon was taken away by another powerful being. The second piece is a piece of jade that is tens of thousands of feet in diameter and exudes a rich mysterious aura. This is also a Hongmeng spiritual material with Xuanyan attributes. Su Junming's face showed a hint of joy. With this main material and some auxiliary materials, it was enough to create a powerful Hongmeng Lingbao. The third piece is a 2-volume jade disc, which is also the only jade disc in Lord Night Demon's storage bracelet that exudes the aura of Hongmeng. The words inside were all the Kenyang spirit pattern that he had seen before. After many years of enlightenment, he now knows 767 Kenyang spiritual patterns. I can barely understand the contents of these 2 volumes of jade plates. The first volume of the jade disc exuding a strong mysterious aura records a technique. Night Demon No Life Sutra. It contains refining methods, magical powers, elixirs, and 7 methods of refining weapons. It is completely a supreme scripture that has a complete inheritance and can be used to open up the path. Moreover, he finally knew the names of the 3 steel forks in Lord Night Demon's hand. Xianyan Zhao Yu Shen Sha. It is made of Hongmeng Xuanyan divine iron as the main material and 1936 auxiliary materials. After being refined, it is not only tough and strong, but also contains the power of large and small changes, and also contains the magical power of Xianyin shining the moon divine light. This light contains immeasurable power of Xianyin, freezing all things, and turning billions of miles of chaos into a mysterious land of ice. No wonder there are traces of frostbite on the body of the tiger-headed demon. It turns out that it was caused by the magical power of this cross. Su Junming carefully studied the contents of the jade plate. Although he does not intend to practice, he can use it to comprehend and supplement Chongshan Academy's own fundamental scriptures and magical powers. The second volume exudes the charm of Yin and Yang Dao, and it is in line with the flavor of the 2 rites complementing each other. Open it and take a look. Really? Sun Moon Vajra Heavenly Heart Sutra. It is more profound than the Night Demon Sutra and can be cultivated to the level of Grand Master Hongmeng. There are obvious signs of turning on the jade plate. It is obvious that Lord Night Demon is very interested in this book of exercises. Thanks to book friend Xie Shenju for the 1,500 starting coin reward, thank you very much.